Stop wasting hours adding negative keywords to your Google Ads account. I'm about to give you a hard truth. Negative keywords are either a complete waste of your time or they're actively harming your campaigns. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Every Google Ads best practice guide tells you to review your search terms and add negative keywords religiously. But after 12 years running my Google Ads agency, Big Flare, spending millions per year on e-commerce advertising and generating more than $150 million in revenue for my clients, I've come to a very different conclusion. In this video, I'm going to show you why Google's algorithm is actually better at this than you are. I'll explain when negative keywords genuinely do matter, and I'll tell you what you should be doing instead of that with your valuable time. Let's dive in. So let me break this down for you. If you are an e-commerce business owner or operator, when it comes to doing negative keywords, there are really only two likely outcomes, and neither of them is good. Let's start with the best case scenario. At best, adding negative keywords might help your performance a little bit. Maybe. But here's the thing nobody talks about. The opportunity cost is massive. As an e-commerce business owner or operator, your time is incredibly valuable. And every hour you spend trawling through search term reports and adding negative keywords is an hour you're not spending on high leverage activities. Things like finding and launching new profitable products, negotiating better deals with your suppliers and vendors, improving your conversion rate and website experience, strategic planning and business development, optimizing your pricing and margins. These are the kinds of activities that really can move the needle in your business. Negative keywords? They deliver minimal ROI compared to any of those. Now look, if you have an agency, a freelancer, or a team member handling your Google Ads, sure, they can add some negative keywords sparingly. But even then, it should still be a low priority task compared to a lot of the other optimizations they could be doing in Google Ads. Here's where it gets worse. The worst case scenario with negative keywords is that you're not just wasting your time, you're actually harming your account by blocking profitable traffic. Human intuition is often completely wrong about search behavior. What seems like an obviously bad keyword can actually be making you money. And when you add it as a negative, you're throwing that profit away, or at least that potential profit. Let me show you exactly what I mean with a real example. So I once had a client selling Microsoft Office software licenses. They were looking through their search terms report and they kept seeing lots of keywords containing the word free. Free Microsoft Office download, free MS Office, Microsoft Office free version. You get the idea. Their immediate reaction was, oh, we need to add free as a negative keyword. These people are looking for free stuff. They're cheapskates. They're never going to buy from us. And honestly, that's a perfectly logical assumption, right? People searching for free must be people who don't want to pay for things. Makes total sense. But I actually advised the client against blocking the word free. And instead, I said, let's run with it and see what the actual data says. And here's what actually happens when we let those free keywords continue to run. They delivered a strong positive ROAS and a ton of conversions. Those supposedly worthless free searchers were actually converting into paying customers. So why does this happen? It's because search behavior is way more complex and nuanced than our snap judgments can account for. Users searching for free Microsoft Office aren't necessarily people who refuse to pay for anything. Think about it. They might be testing whether legitimate free options actually exist. They might be hoping for a free trial version. They might be curious about what's out there. And then when they discover that the free sources are scammy, low quality, or come with security risks, what do? They end up buying the legitimate paid version. The point here is that snap judgments based on intuition are often completely wrong. What seems obviously bad can actually be incredibly profitable. And this leads me to the real reason why negative keywords are mostly a waste of time for a lot of advertisers. Here's the thing most people don't fully appreciate. Google's algorithm is really, really good at this. Like, scary good. Let me paint you a picture of the data Google has access to for its users. Recent searches across all of Google. YouTube videos they've watched, YouTube videos they've skipped, Gmail content and interaction, purchase history from Gmail receipts, Google Maps locations and movement patterns, and a whole lot more. This stuff is just the tip of the iceberg. Google has access to enormous amounts of behavioral data on all its users. So how does Google actually use all this data? Well, they're excellent at behavioral targeting and audience segmentation. They can identify completely different user types within the exact same search term. So let me give you an example using that free MS Office search we talked about previously. Let's say, for example, there are 10,000 people searching for this term every month. And let's say, just for example's sake, that there are 2 user types within this audience: cheapskates and high flyers. The cheapskates are those who are genuinely budget conscious users who are extremely unlikely to buy premium software. Google can see that they regularly visit and download free software from illegal sites, that they subscribe to newsletters about saving money, that they visited websites about fixing their poor credit score, and that they watch videos about budgeting and life hacks. And then we have the high flyers, who are the people that are actually likely to buy the paid software, even though right now they are searching for the free version. Google can see that they have a history of paying for premium software, that they usually fly business class when booking a flight, that they live in an affluent neighborhood, and that they watch YouTube videos about productivity and business efficiency. Now, here's the magic. Google can discern these 2 completely different user types within their overall audience of 10,000 searchers. So then what does smart bidding do? It bids appropriately. For the high flyers audience, it might bid $3 per click to reflect the higher probability of conversion. And for the cheapskates audience, it might bid just 3 cents, or a very low bid. It bids so low that either you get no traffic from that audience, or you do get some traffic that is cheap enough to offset the lower conversion probability. And then this makes search terms work that human intuition would have said could never work. Something I like to say is that there's no such thing as a keyword that does not work. Let me share a thought experiment with you that will show you exactly what I mean. Imagine you're selling men's wallets, and somehow you get matched to the keyword funny cat videos. Seems like that keyword would not work, right? Why would someone watching a funny cat video want to buy a wallet? But now imagine you got 1 billion clicks from 1 billion unique users, and you only paid $1 for all 1 billion clicks combined. Would this keyword work? Absolutely, because somewhere in that 1 billion people, there's bound to be at least a few in there who are actually looking for wallets right now. And if you're getting a ridiculously low cost per click, even a tiny conversion rate becomes profitable. The point here is important. It's not that keywords work or don't work. That's the wrong way to think about it entirely. Different keywords have different conversion probabilities. Less relevant keywords equal lower conversion probability. But if you bid low enough for that lower probability, they can still be profitable. And this is exactly what smart bidding excels at. It's constantly estimating the conversion probability for each individual user. Then it's bidding the correct amount given that probability. And that makes seemingly bad keywords profitable by bidding appropriately. Now, here's what happens when you add a negative keyword. You end up blocking Google's ability to identify the small percentage of high intent users within that audience. You remove any chance for the algorithm to bid the right amount for different user segments within that overall audience. And you throw away potential profit because you've decided that keyword just doesn't work. But Google might have been able to make it work by using its audience data and smart bidding algorithm. You'll just never know. So what does this all mean for you as an e-commerce advertiser? Google's data and AI and machine learning vastly exceed what human intuition can achieve. When you're using smart bidding, Google handles all of this stuff automatically. Every time you add a negative keyword, you're overriding the algorithm. You're essentially saying, I know better than the algo. And spoiler alert, you often don't. Now, before we continue, if you're watching this and thinking, I wonder if my account is actually set up properly, or maybe I've been wasting time on the wrong things, well, I've got something for you. I offer $250 video audits of Google Ads accounts. I'll personally record a 15-minute Loom video walking through your account, showing you exactly what's working, what's not, and what you should actually be focusing on. This isn't one of those free audits that's really just a sales pitch disguised as help. It's a paid service, $250, which means you get genuine, actionable advice specific to your account, not a generic pitch to hire an agency. Click the link in the description below if you want me to audit your account. All right, let's talk about when negative keywords actually do matter. Now, I need to be really clear about something. Everything I've just said comes with some critical assumptions. This recommendation assumes that you're using smart bidding strategies. That means target ROAS, target CPA, maximize conversions, or maximize conversion value. It assumes that you have good conversion volume, ideally 50 to 100 plus conversions per month minimum. It assumes you're tracking actual purchases or revenue as your conversion goal. And it assumes you're running e-commerce with direct online transactions where Google Ads can see the final purchase conversion data. If all of these apply to you, then negative keywords have very low value, and as a business owner or operator, your time is likely better spent elsewhere. But what if they don't apply? There are really two main situations where negative keywords do become valuable. So the first exception is when you have low conversion volume. If you're getting much less than 50 conversions per month, there may not be enough data for machine learning to work effectively. Smart bidding can't optimize properly without sufficient conversion signals. So in this scenario, manual intervention becomes more important. Negative keywords can help filter out obviously irrelevant traffic when the algorithm doesn't have enough data to do it automatically. The second exception is when Google can't see your final conversion data, the actual purchases or money coming in. Now, there are a number of scenarios where this is the case. Maybe you have poor conversion tracking implementation. Maybe you're counting non-purchase actions as conversions instead of tracking final sales. In these situations, Google's auto keyword matching is not as accurate because it's not fully tracking the ultimate goal, money coming in. Manual filtering becomes more important. So let me give you some common examples where this happens. The first example is when you're generating leads. Now, when I say generating leads, I say this quite broadly to mean any sort of intermediate conversion that is valuable to your business, but is not the actual final purchase. For example, a service business that's generating form fill leads, or a software business that is generating initial demos or free account trials. Google can't see which leads actually close into paying customers. The algorithm can't optimize for final business value because that conversion happens offline, often weeks or months later. So more manual management, including negative keywords, becomes necessary. The other main example is in B2B specifically, where you typically have smaller volumes of higher value customers. The final purchase often isn't directly tracked in Google Ads at all. You've often got a long sales cycle with offline closing. Even if you are importing your final purchase conversion into Google, the data is often way less accurate than if you are tracking an immediate purchase on the website. So Google lacks visibility into the true conversion quality. Plus, B2B search terms are often highly niche and specific. Combined with low conversion data, this makes it difficult for Google to learn what works and what doesn't. In these scenarios, negative keywords become more valuable precisely because Google's algorithm doesn't have the data it needs to make those smart bidding decisions. All right, let me wrap this up with my final recommendations. If you're an e-commerce business owner or operator with 50 to 100 plus conversions per month and you're tracking purchases properly, negative keywords are very low value for you. Don't waste your valuable time on this activity. Focus on high leverage business activities instead. Let Google's algorithm do what it's designed to do. If you have someone else managing your Google Ads whose time is less valuable than yours, then yes, they can add negative keywords, but sparingly. Their negative keyword decisions should be backed by data, not assumptions. Don't go crazy building extensive negative keyword lists based purely on assumptions. Keep it minimal and strategic, and make sure they are prioritizing negative keywords correctly. Even for someone whose time is less valuable than yours, there are still many other optimizations in Google Ads that are way higher value than negative keywords. And don't forget, all this advice does not apply quite so much if you have very low conversion volume, or if you're generating leads, or if you are in a niche B2B vertical. Now that you understand why smart bidding handles negative keywords better than manual management, you might want to dive deeper into exactly how these bid strategies work and which one is right for your campaigns. Check out my video, Every Single Google Ads Bid Strategy Explained, where I break down every single Google Ads bid strategy and explain which ones you should be using. You can check the video out up here, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.